25 years ago, at around 8:15 in the morning, 43-year-old Thomas Hamilton was seen scraping ice off of his van by a neighbour who engaged in what was described as a brief, normal conversation with him. Sometime after this, Hamilton had made the 8-kilometre journey from his home on 7 Kent Road in Stirling towards Dunblane Primary School. One of the largest primary schools in Scotland, at the time the school had approximately 640 pupils. Each morning, pupils would meet in the school's assembly hall. However, due to the large student populace, the assemblies have been split up into 3 groups of approximately 250 students each. On the 13th of March, all classes had attended their assemblies from 9:10, finishing by 9:30. According to a Herald article, published 3 months following the attack, Hamilton had repeatedly asked a 9-year-old pupil what time the school's assembly had taken place, where the pupil erroneously gave him the wrong information, saying that the assemblies had begun at 9:30, where they actually started at 10 past. This could have potentially foiled a much bigger plot and could possibly provide an explanation for the first shots fired within the school. At around 9:30, Hamilton had parked his van beside a telegraph pole in the lower car park of the primary school. Using a pair of pliers, he had cut the telephone cables at the foot of the telegraph pole, severing the phone lines for a number of nearby adjoining houses. He possibly believed it would cut the phone lines off for the school, preventing the police being called to the area, allowing him more time before armed intervention. However, these wires did not serve the school. Hamilton was wearing a dark jacket, black corduroy trousers, a woolly hat, ear defenders, 4 holsters strapped to his waist, pouches over each shoulder, and a large camera bag transporting extra ammunition. The weapons he had were 2 9mm Browning semi-automatic pistols and 2 .357 Smith & Wesson Model 19 revolvers. He had 25 extended magazines capable of holding 20 rounds of 9mm ammunition suitable for both Brownings. 18 of the magazines had been fully loaded, 3 were partially filled, and 4 were empty. 393 rounds were ready to be fired, and an additional 108 rounds were in ammo boxes, equaling to a total of 501 rounds of 9mm ammunition. Hamilton was also carrying 230 rounds of .357 Magnum cartridges suitable for use in both revolvers, with an additional 6 cartridges in each weapon. Altogether, Hamilton arrived at the school with a total of 743 rounds of ammunition. The Primary 1 class that was in the gymnasium that morning consisted of 28 pupils, with 25 of them being 5 years of age and 3 being 6. Eileen Harold, the PE teacher, supervisory assistant Mary Blake, and teacher of the Primary 1 class, Gwen Mayer, were also present. The class had already changed for their gym lesson before attending assembly, where afterwards they had made their way to the gymnasium, where they had been instructed to go to the centre of the gym, away from the equipment at the south end. During this time, Hamilton entered the school by way of a door on its northwest side, which was next to the toilets beside the gym. Harold had been talking to Mayer for a few minutes when Hamilton fired 1 shot into the stage of the assembly hall and another into the girls' toilets outside the gym. Entering the gym, using the semi-automatic Browning, Hamilton fired a total of 29 shots in rapid succession, hitting multiple children, striking Eileen Harold 3 times, hitting Blake in the head and both legs, and killing Mayer, who had sustained numerous wounds. Despite being wounded, Blake and Harold had managed to usher 4 children into the storeroom with them, protecting them from further gunfire. Hamilton then walked up the east side of the gym, firing 6 shots. He then discharged 8 shots in the direction of the opposite side of the gym before advancing to the middle. Walking in a semicircle, he systematically fired 16 shots at a group of children who had been previously wounded at point-blank range. A child from a primary 7 class who had been sent on an errand by his teacher, walking along a corridor at the west side of the gym, had heard loud banging and screaming. Looking in, Hamilton had spotted him and then shot in his direction, shattering a window and striking him with flying glass. Hamilton then advanced to the south side of the gym, firing 24 rounds in various directions, before opening the fire escape door and discharging a further 4 shots towards the library cloakroom, striking member of staff Grace Tweedle. Teacher Catherine Gordon and her primary 7 class, who were in a mobile classroom closest to the fire escape door, had seen and heard Hamilton shooting, where she immediately instructed her class to get down on the floor, where 9 shots then struck her classroom, luckily hitting no one. Hamilton then re-entered the gym, where he dropped his pistol and drew one of his .357 revolvers. He then placed the barrel in his mouth and, pointing upwards, shot himself. The shooting had lasted approximately 3 to 4 minutes, where 106 rounds had been fired and 17 people lay dead in the gymnasium, Among those killed were Victoria Elizabeth Clydesdale, Emma Elizabeth Crozier, Melissa Helen Curry, Charlotte Louise Dunn, Kevin Allen Hassel, Ross William Irving, David Charles Kerr, Gwen Hodson Omer, Brett McKinnon, Abigail Joanne McLeanan, Emily Morton, Sophie Jane Lockwood North, John Petrie, Joanna Caroline Ross, Hannah Louise Scott, Megan Turner, and the class teacher Gwen Mayer. One further victim, Mary Isabel McBeath, would be pronounced dead on arrival at Stirling Royal Infirmary at 10:30. The headmaster of Dunblane Primary School, Ron Taylor, left an emergency 999 call before running along the corridor to the gym. After a student teacher had told Taylor that he had seen Hamilton shooting himself, Taylor had entered the gym, describing what he had witnessed as a scene of unimaginable carnage, one's worst nightmare. He saw a group of children on the right-hand side of the gym who were crying and obviously less injured than the others. He asked the student teacher to take them out of the gym and give them comfort. After staff evacuated the survivors from the gym and ambulances were called, Taylor and the school's janitor, John Curry, had noticed Hamilton still gripping his revolver lying at the south end of the gym, seemingly moving. He noticed a gun on the floor beside him and told Mr. Curry to kick it away, while they also took the revolver from his hand. The first ambulance arrived at the school at 9:57, and by 11:10 all injured victims had arrived at the Stirling Royal Infirmary. Among the injured included Amy Lauren Adam, Cole Austin, Matthew Alexander Burney, Mary Blake, Scott Elliott Crichton, Eileen Mary Harold, Stephen James Hopper, Robbie Hurst, Amy Louise Hutchinson, Ryan Thomas Liddell, Mark James Mullen, Andrew O'Donnell, Victoria Elizabeth Porteous, Robert Raymond Purves, Grace Tweedle, Ben Valance, and Stuart Campbell Weir.